everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk, and thank you very much for joining me for today's project, which is this little Halloween house. Now, if you remember a programme that used to be on TV some years ago, which was called Through the Keyhole, they always used to say, and who lives in a house like this? Well, the answer is nobody, because they're all ghosts. And if you stick with me, I will show you how I made it. This is the Home Sweet Home Thinlits die set, and I've used this die and cut out two pieces in Old Olive, and on those pieces I've used this die to cut out 4 windows. 2, 3, 4. Alright. And I have used this die to cut out the door. So those are my Old Olive pieces, and then I have used pumpkin pie, and I have cut out one of these and 4 of these. Now you need to be a bit careful because these two dies look very similar, and there are another 2 which will cut you an arched window. That's that one and that one. This one cuts the holes, alright, it cuts out the 4 little panes. This one cuts the frame, and you need to be careful that you use the right one in the right place, otherwise you won't get the result you want. So I have 4 window frames in pumpkin pie. I cut 12 of these ones that look like snaggle teeth. They're going to be the tiles on my roof, and this is Perfect Plum. So 12 of those, because I worked it out and that's how many I need. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to use these. I'm going to see how it looks, but I cut out 4 of these little trapezoid shapes, and they're going to be window boxes, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to use them. And finally, still out of the Perfect Plum, I cut another one of these. Now this die has one edge which is a fold. These 3 edges are cuts, but that edge is a fold. So when you put it in, it's meant to cut out the door, but I cut out another piece out of Perfect Plum, and I just took my scissors and I just cut along that edge so that I had a freestanding piece for a purple door. So those are the pieces that I am going to be using. So I'm going to get started putting this thing together. So before I do any assembly, I want to do some stamping on my base pieces. So I have this stamp, which is from the new Ghoulish Grunge set. Now we're calling it Ghoulish Grunge, but apart from you know, the spider web, and I think that could be blood or slime, something nasty anyway. But apart from those 2, actually these 3 could be almost anything, and even that could be a cracked window. So this, I think, for me, is going to be a very useful set, because there is a lot of there's a lot of images in there. Whoops, that's gone on the floor. There are a lot of images in there that I could use at times other than Halloween. So I have Old Olive ink, so I'm going to go tone on tone, and I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm just going to lightly fold where the roof part and the base part is, so that it will help me to see where I'm actually stamping. And I will go back and burnish those properly, I promise, because I want the image to go where I want it, and I want to make sure I've got as much of it as possible where I want it to be. So I'm going to press that down and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is my ghoulish brickwork. And I'm going to do the same over here, and that's where the top of my building is. And I'm trying to line this so that the bricks will look straight when the building's folded. Now that hasn't come out particularly well, but you know what, I'm not going to bother, because this is a spooky old house and it doesn't really matter. But I wasn't really paying attention when I was stamping there. And I may well, haven't decided yet, but it's entirely possible that I will come back and maybe do some sponging along the edges there. Now I've gone over my door but I'm not worrying because I'm going to cover that over. And there's the edge of my roof, so I'll try and keep parallel with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. So that is the stamping done and dusted. Off camera, I've gone ahead and I've burnished all my folds, so they are now all nice sharp creases, and I paid particular attention to this one here, which is the one for the door, because that is going to help me in a moment when I start sticking things together. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the door panel onto the door, because that will help me when I come to put the frame around it to see where the frame needs to go. And I'm going to be using wet glue throughout, so I'm using Tombow, but I'm trying not to use too much of it because I don't want it squidging out and sticking over everything. And I've got my piercing tool handy just to help me to line things up. Okay. So the next bit I'm going to put into place is the door frame. Okay, sorry that was a bit of an abrupt cut. The doorbell went. So what I was doing before I was so rudely interrupted was I was just putting some spots of glue onto the back of the door frame. So I'm going to, so of course that's now dried while I was dealing with the interruption, and this is now going to fit. I'm just going to open the door to make sure that, yes, I didn't want that to happen. So I'm just prodding that into place. I'm using my piercing tool just to make sure that it goes to where I want it. Okay. So that's my spooky door. And yes. I think I'm going to decorate that a little bit further, but I'm going to do that a bit later on. Alright, so now I have the picture frames, window frames. Well, it could be picture frames, a bit of a strange picture. And I'm going to do the same thing with all of those, and this is where probably I'm going to speed things up a bit. Okay, so those are now in place, and if you are handy with tweezers, you will probably find that they would help in putting that bit together. I am not good with tweezers. I get in more of a mess with tweezers than without, so I did it old school. Right, now my window boxes. Do I want my window boxes? I think I do, because I think I have a cunning plan of how I'm going to decorate them. Now there is a companion stamp set that goes along with these dies, and you can get them as a bundle, and if you do that you will save 10% on the cost, which if you know you want the dies and the stamps, then that's a good way of getting them. I'm not 100% sure that I want the stamps. I'm not sure whether I actually need them. So I'm still debating with myself whether or not to get those. I probably will. But there were other things in the catalogue that I wanted more. And I don't know whether, if you haven't seen the new Autumn Winter catalogue, then you can get a free PDF. If you go to my blog, at the bottom of the page there is a link where you can download the catalogue, and you can have a look at it on your computer, or you can order one. And if you have Stampin' Up demonstrator, then by all means go and talk to to your demo and ask them if they can get a catalogue for you. Or you can, no, do I want that one there? Or if you're in the UK, if you get in touch with me, and again you can find contact details on my blog page, then I will get one sent out to you. So you know, you've got no excuse for not having one in your hot little hands. And if you want to know how to become a demonstrator and get access to all this cool stuff before the catalogues actually go live to customers, then you can also find some information about that on my blog page, or you can get in touch with me, because I am looking to build my team and I would be thrilled to have you. So there we go. So that is the main part of the building. Now the next bit is the roof. It's a bit plain as it is at the moment, so this is where all of these pieces come in. And I think I said I've cut 12 of them. It's 6 per roof. Oops, bumped the table there, sorry about that. And I'm going to build them up starting at the bottom edge. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to start off with one of my pieces, and I'm going to put a bead of glue along there, and I'm going to bend that over so I can see where the edge is, because I want this to line up pretty much with the edge of the roof there. I want it reasonably straight. It is a rickety house. Okay, these are rickety tiles. Okay, and then the next one goes over the top of that one, but offset. So it's kind of going into the gap. And I'm covering up my next layer. It's a bit straighter. Okay, so it's fast forward time again, and I'm going to do the rest of this side of the roof. That's this side of the roof covered, and I've got some extra bits sticking out, so I'm just going to turn the piece over and I'm just going to trim those away with my snips. I'm just following the edge of the roof, and same thing here. Covered in glue now. Okay, there we are. So that's that half of the building finished. So I'm going to go and do the same to this side, and I will be back in a minute. I brought the Home Sweet Home Thinlits dies back to show you, because I've used 2 more of them. I've used this one, which cuts out this little bat who wants to fly away. Here he is, and he's cut out in basic black, and I've cut 5 of those. And I've cut 1 of this shape in vellum, because this is my little ghost whose haunted house it's going to be. So I'll take that, put that back, and to put the ghost to one side for a moment, I'm just going to work with the bats. And these are going to be my decorations. So I'm going to stick 1 on my door and 1 on each of the window boxes. So back in a minute. this is the last one going on, and I'm just going to explain what I've been doing. So I've been picking up the little cutout using my piercing tool. Just made a tiny little hole and a tiny little spot of Tombow onto the back, and then using my piercing tool to place it. Now there is a tiny little hole in the wing of the bat there, but once everything's all stuck down, it won't really be noticed. So it just remains to do the little ghost here. So he's looking a bit blank at the moment, and again, if you buy the companion stamp set, there is a little ghost face, an outline that works for him, that goes with him. But as I said, I'm still thinking about whether or not I really need that set. I won't lie to you. I probably will get it, actually, just not right now. So I have used a CD marker pen. You need something that is not water-based, because water-based doesn't dry very well or very quickly. It will dry eventually, but it takes a long time on vellum, because vellum is not a very porous or absorbent surface. The way they make it, I understand, is that they actually hammer it. Right, so decision time. Where is he going to go? So I'll put him peeking out of the house, just like that, I think. So I'll put a little bit on the tail. And I'm just going to pop him into place, and there he is. Put his hands and arms issuing out of the door. Okay, so there is the front of my house. So all I need to do now is to assemble it together. And I'm going to put some adhesive on that flap. And now at this point, if you want to, you can use tape, you can use fast fuse, you can use the adhesive of your choice. I'm using the liquid glue because, quite honestly, I have it handy at this point in time, and so it's convenient, and I might as well. And it also does give you the luxury of that little bit of wiggle time. And I want to make sure that my lower edges are lined up nicely. And onto this side here. Bring that round. Right, now if I'm making a number of these for, I don't know, to hold sweeties or treats or whatever, I can stop there and I can store that flat until I'm ready to finish the job. Before I finish sticking this together, there is one more thing I want to do, and it probably would have been easier if I'd done it while it was all still flat, and that is I want to put some vellum behind each of the windows. And I've just cut myself 4 little squares that are about 3/4 of an inch by an inch, and I am just going to put a little spot of Tombow top and bottom, and I'm just going to pick this up and slide this inside the house. I've already done all of them except for this one. This is the last one. I'm just going to slide that into place, press it down just for a second or two. And the reason why I've done this, when I made the prototype, I had ghosts coming out of every window, and you couldn't really see that they were ghosts, but it did help. It did help with the final effect. So when I trialed this one, and there goes my email, when I trialed this one, it didn't give me quite the effect that I wanted when I finished. So that's why I've decided to put the bits of vellum in. Up to you entirely whether you do that or whether you don't. I'm going to go ahead now and put the roof onto the little spooky house. So here are my flaps folded over, and I've got a flap at the top, and I'm going to start by putting adhesive just along these edges. And again, you could use tape or you could use fast fuse. I wouldn't recommend snail, it's just not strong enough. Snail is really a lightweight adhesive that's best suited to holding paper together or paper to card. It's not really that good when it comes to holding card to card. I'm just shaping this to make sure that it's in the shape I want. Let's close my flaps at the bottom for a bit. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so same thing on this side, except that I'm also going to apply adhesive along that flap as well. I'm just going to hold all of this into place just for a minute or two, just while it sets. And now that is starting to look like a well spooky house. Just going to hold that a little bit longer and I'll be back with the next step. Now off camera I went and took a little bit of old olive ink on sponge and I just sponged all around all of the surfaces, and I put some on the roof and all so that it looked nice and grungy. Now you don't have to do that, that's an effect that I wanted, that you don't have to do, but I just want to say that again, maybe this would have been something that would have been better done before I put the whole thing together, but I only just thought of it. But what I did when I did this area, I just folded the little ghost back out of the way so I didn't get old olive ink on my little vellum ghost. So a couple of things to finish it off. Now you could just close up the bottom end and then obviously put whatever you were going to put in it first, and then whoever got it would either have to get things out through the little door or they would have to take the thing apart. But what I've done, it was an idea I saw from somebody on Facebook and I thought I'd give it a try. I've put a little square of magnetic photo paper, which I bought in the pound shop. I think it was two A4 sheets for £1, and I put a sheet there and a sheet there. Now it's not a very strong bond because it is photo paper which I bought from the pound shop, but it will hold it well enough for my purposes because I want to illuminate my little house. So my first thought was to use this, and this is an underwater tea light, which I think, oh, again, I bought them off eBay, and I think I bought 5 of them at a time, and they're waterproof, and you can put them into a bowl and light a bowl up. That's because they're all sealed up. So that was my first idea. But while I was in the pound shop, I came across these. Now, I've already butchered one, and these are cycle lights. So the idea is that you press once and you get I'm trying to think of the word. A steady light. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you all of the people who were shouting at your computer screens and telling me what the word I wanted was. If I press again, I get a fast flicker. If I press again, I get a slow flicker. So I have choices. I press again and I can turn it off. And I got 2 of these for £1. I got this one, which glows red. Okay. So again, I have choices, and all I did was I took a fairly sturdy scissors, and this is quite a soft rubbery plastic, and I just snipped these pieces away. These are just a casing that's designed to hold it onto your push bike, onto your cycle. So I have a choice. So I think let's try this one, and let's have a look how that looks. and that gives me an illuminated little house, so I quite like that. Or I could have, I don't like the fast flicker, I could have the slow flicker, and that, oh, I really like that, because that looks like there's a major party going on in there. Okay, let's try the red one. Try the red one. Turn it off. So I'll put this to slow flicker, and I'll do it off camera because I'm really not fond of that fast flicker at all. And there we go. What do you think? In the end, I decided I'm going to use this one, and I've put a dimensional onto the back. Now, the reason why I've done this is because I want that light to stay pointing upwards. I don't want it falling flat on its face. So I'm just going to push that just inside to make sure that I've cleared the bottom of the box or house or whatever it is, and I can either go in from the front, or I can open up the base of the box and just get my thumb in, and I can get my light to shine. Turn it off for now, and now that all comes in, and there is my finished box. And here is my finished spooky house, and I can just press my cycle light inside, and now it's all ready for the ghosts and the witches and the hobgoblins to have a really cool Halloween party. This is probably going to go onto my desk in work because I do like to decorate it up for Halloween and have a little bowl of sweets for trick or treat. That is it for today. So thank you very, very much for joining me. I do hope you've liked this video, and if so, please do like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you look underneath the video screen here, you will find the more information box. There are links to my Facebook page, to my blog, and also to my online Stampin' Up shop. And that is it for today. So please do come back and join me again soon, and I hope I'll see you then. Bye bye.